right. I have got Rachel on, and Rachel is a student of mine who has finished the course about 2 years ago. Rachel's done her testimonial before, so if you haven't seen those videos, be sure to check those out. But I wanted to do a little catch-up video with you because you've seen such crazy changes in such a short period of time. But first, let's talk about where were you at back in January 2023 when you had just joined the course and you were kind of like, I don't know any of this stuff. This is all confusing. Like, where were you at with your finances?
So back then, I really just remember taking a look and taking stock of what I had. I think at the time I was like, I want to buy a house. I am a single individual living in a one-bedroom apartment. Like, what will it take? And I just kind of was figuring out like, how much for a down payment? And will that bankrupt me to take everything I have and put it in a down payment? So I was at a place where I had only ever put money into a savings account. I did have one fund that had been set up for me like when I was young that was investing, but I really never even looked at it. I got like the dividend check once a year, yay, cool. And then I would put it into my savings account. So I really had everything, backwards in terms of what to do with my money and when. And I just was kind of looking at like a place of how can I afford what I want to afford, but also potentially leave my job before I'm 70 years old. And where do I go? Like, what do I do with my money? And I didn't really have family that explained money to me.
Mhm.
They definitely have, their own investments, but like they don't even know how it works. So
Right.
so it was hard. And I was looking elsewhere, and obviously Instagram reads your mind. So I started seeing a lot of different things, especially from you. So yeah, so I definitely got those popping up left and right. So it was
Yeah. And do you remember how you chose to do the Lazy Investors course? Because obviously, when you're at that stage of like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a house, I'm thinking about doing this, I'm not really sure what to do. How did you land on, I'm going to learn how to invest in the stock market and I'm going to do it the lazy way?
Honestly, I had seen a bunch of different people's just informational posts, and I just feel like for me, I resonated with a lot of different things about your page. Like obviously, lazy investing sounds great, and you kind of are like, okay, well, what the hell does that even mean to be like lazy in the stock market? Because that's not what I envision the stock market to be.
Right.
Um, and I was just curious about it, to be quite honest. And I've never been one to shy away from educating myself and kind of also just like taking a leap of faith. And if it didn't turn out okay, maybe I learned a little something, but if it did, great. And I can really change my parts of my life. So I just loved your page. I loved how many educational posts you had that weren't tied to anything, that weren't tied to you had to spend money or whatever. And I was like starting to learn. I originally about a high yield savings account, probably like right off one of your posts. And I was like, well,
Mhm.
what the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. So being, 31 at the time, like I can't believe I didn't, but I
Right.
didn't know what it was. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's where I started. Yeah.
Awesome. And I remember Rachel, even when she first joined, because she was so nervous about investing. You were like really, really anxious about it. And it was so
Yeah.
cool seeing the transformation from like very nervous, new to the course to like, I'm doing it. And then you have sent me updates over the years. And it's
Oh
so
yeah.
cool to see this massive transformation, even in you've now survived this year. We had a big dip in the stock market that lasted for a few months. And I know that like that's hard for anybody on their first time experiencing it. And you stayed the course. You kept investing, you
Mhm.
kept doing it. And so let's talk a little bit about your results. So when you first joined the course, your net worth, I want to say, was around $200,000. Does that sound right?
Between
Okay.
having one account given to me that had some investments and just what I was saving from day to day, yes, that was,
Okay.
yeah.
Where are you at now in terms of your net worth?
So I actually, just looked at all my accounts right before this call because I was like, I want the most up-to-date information. And I was just over
Which
$583,000.
is insane. This is literally why I worked with a copywriter recently to like make changes to one of my landing pages. And I said some of my students increased their net worth by like $100,000 in a year.
Yeah.
You've increased your net worth from this year to last year by, I think it was 150,000, right?
Yes, it was right around there. And I was just like, it's
Yeah,
wild because from day to day you don't like necessarily see it, but then when you like actually look back, you're like, holy crap. And Fidelity makes it so
crazy.
easy to do that 1 year thing, and you're like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
crazy. But what I love about it is that copywriter who I was like, yeah, that happens for some of my students. And she was like, well, it's just not believable. And I'm like, okay, but it's true. And
Nope.
you're
And I've sent like screenshots. I'm like, no, this is literally it. Like,
literally, which is, it's so cool and it's such an amazing thing to witness. And what's going to blow, I think, people's mind is what do you do for work and where do you live?
so my full-time job that I have held for 11 years now is I am a social worker. I'm not going to say where, just
Of course.
because it's a little private, but no, I work in the social work field and I live in the Massachusetts area and it is not cheap to live here.
It's not cheap. And I think we all know social work isn't one of the highest paid industries out there. She's not in tech, she's not doing anything like that. But
No
after taking,
bonuses.
right, like you're doing the Lord's work out there. So when you got into the course, I don't recall. I know you now have a pretty thriving photography business as well, and that's what has allowed you to invest more and do all the things like that. Did you have that when you started the course, and how has that evolved after taking the course?
So like I said, I started with you in January 2023. I had started dabbling in photography in 2022, but like on the side, not really as a business. I didn't really know how to get it to be a business. So really the same year that I was thinking about how do I use the money I currently have and invest it and learn there, I also was like, how do I increase my income? So all of that was happening at once. And I was just like, well, one of my favorite things in the world is photography. I already kind of started and done well and had some really cool sessions. And I was like, let's take this to the next level. Let's see if I can get clients. Let's see how I can build an actual business around this. And so that's when I started then, and I declared it a legitimate business about 6 months after I took this course and like got
Hmm.
it as a legitimate business in the town I'm in. So yeah.
Did the course inspire you to start taking it more seriously so you could invest more, or what was kind of the impetus for it?
It was, I mean, all that wants me that I want to take seriously all the time is retiring early. I mean, it seems like it's all the rage, but it's like it's not even about it being like trendy. It's I want to live my life the way I want to live it. And ultimately in my mind, a couple of things inspired it. It was the fact that could I do that and enjoy my life and do photography? Like, could I do that without having my full-time job? And secondly, there was this idea of, and it was right off the bat, I think in like one of the first videos or something, it's like, well, how do I increase my net worth? First, you might have to increase your income. Like plain
Yeah.
and simple, you need to like learn and not necessarily stay stuck with a job that might not promote you and all these different things. And I was just like, okay, well, I might not get promoted, but I can promote myself with something
Mm.
that I love doing. And that was kind of where I was like, okay, I get this extra income. That money can be invested. That money can be, not for my household expenses. And I can really lean into what I'm trying to do with your course. So it was
Mm.
all just like tied together and hand in hand, which was wonderful.
Which is crazy. Like, I'm sure you didn't expect an investing course to like impact you in so many different areas of your life, right? But it's
Yeah.
like once we figure out the money stuff and then we see what's possible, I feel like that is a really common occurrence because you're just
Yeah.
like suddenly you have so much more faith in your ability to do whatever it is that you want to do. And it's like you're
Yeah.
going to find a way to do it rather than just being like, well, I can't because I'm a social worker and social workers get paid crap. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So,
Exactly.
I just want to say I'm super proud of you. Like you are a star student and like everything that I wish for my students. And like I just love to seeing like the peace and the confidence that has transformed over the years. And it's really cool to witness and be part of your journey.
Thank you.
What's something that going back to like let's say December 2022 Rachel, what's something this Rachel would want to tell her now?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I just think like putting your mind to something actually does make a difference. It's that's so freaking cheesy, but like it's honestly truth in both like starting a business and learning something new. I think for me, it's also like not every jump is going to pay off, but some of them will, and you just have to be willing to make changes and kind of just like go but also go with the flow a little bit, because as we know, like when you do start investing, like it can be scary when there's a dip. It can be really nerve-wracking. I mean, you've gotten a couple messages from me being like, "Oh my God, like this is scary." But it's yeah, I just think like trying to realize that there's so much more out there, and we are at a time, or I'm at a time in my life where I'm like ready to make those steps and not ready to like not willing to be scared anymore. And
Hmm.
I that's where I was at. I was at a kind of like a pivot section of my life, that's for sure. Um,
Hmm.
so I just would tell her to like take a leap, just do something small, like one thing at a time. You're not going to be retired by the end of the year, but like you can make steps and
Yeah.
just like keep making steps towards your future. So,
Heck yeah. And you have made such incredible steps. So thank you so much for spending time, talking about the course and your experience.
mhm.
And also just shout out to the community because she's had moments where she has freaked out about like what's going on in the stock market. That is a normal part of being a new investor. And even 2 years in, you're still a new investor. And that's
Yes.
the beauty of the community too, is like she can come in and say, "Hey, I'm freaking out. What do I do
Yep.
about this?" And I'll be like, "All right, let me talk you through this. Let's talk about it. Let's chat.
Yeah.
What's going on?" So I appreciate the fact that you do use the community and you are not a stranger to me. Like I knew who you are because you really used the community to its fullest, which is great.
Oh yeah. And those calls too, like the calls that you've done with people. I mean, those were so many questions answered, and also like just FYI shout out, like you have so many followers, but you always like respond to people. It's like it's hard to do, I'm sure, but like there's been so much support, and then I know that the community makes it easier for you to respond to people, and I do love that. And I just saw, I think, one tag today that was like there's other therapists in this group. I think a girl just
Yeah.
joined that was like a therapist, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to message and just be like, I'm one of them."
Mhm.
So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, we have a bunch of therapists in the group. It's great. Like we literally, even in the webinar, there's people like being like, "I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist too. Me too,"
Yeah.
which is great. I love it. So
Let's commiserate for a second.
I love me some therapists. So cool. Anything else you want to say about the Lazy Investors program or anything about your journey? And then I'll let you go.
I think one last thing that I just want to mention for anyone, that might be watching this all the way through, and is just that like the lazy way is so exciting because I am not staring at individual stocks or individual companies and if they're failing or if something happened or a CEO this or I don't care, because guess what?
Hmm.
I don't have to care. And that is what's so exciting about learning like this method of doing things. I really do just get to like open my app and see where things are at. And even when they're down, I know that they're going to pop back up. Like that's the beauty of it. Unlike buying, 100 shares of some company and hoping that they're the successful one. So, yeah, so that's what I want to say.
It's
Definitely.
lazy, it's easy, and it clearly works. So thank you
Yes.
again for taking the time to come share your story. And yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, just period.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, happy to
For
do it.
sure.